How high should we aspire? What a lovely reading. Swami Sri Teswar said, forget the past. The vanished lives of all men are dark with many shames. But everything in future will improve if you're making a spiritual effort now. And this reading, as she was saying, in Gita says, even the worst of sinners, by steadfast meditation on me, speedily comes to me. And Master was very clear on this point, that our nature is oneness with God. We are a soul like a ray of light coming from the sun, or in a gas burner, the jets of the lights coming up. We're all a part of the fire coming. We're all a part of the sun. We're all a part of God. We're all a part of the wave merging with the ocean of God, that we only can go back. You can't. Ultimately, you have to reunite yourself with Spirit. And so the teachings of yoga show how to unite yourself. And Yoganandaji was very encouraging all the time. He was very positive. He was very affirmative. He would say, you can, you should affirm, I can, I must, I will. He would run out onto his audience on the platform where he would be speaking to audiences. He was completely dynamic and magnetic, and he was full of light. And he had the people chanting with him, loudly affirming. Like this is beautiful words of Masters. He had people being healed. He chanted one chant an hour and a half with this chant we chanted this morning. Oh God, beautiful. Many people went into ecstasy. Many people were healed. They were uplifted out of their darkness and ignorance. And this is what the Masters have come to bring. Yes, teachings, yes, techniques, yes, methods, yes, tools, and their grace and their blessings. And the Bhagavad Gita in there, even Arjuna didn't want to fight. Krishna, his guru, was saying, well, you must. And he was saying, you must go against all dark habits, negativity, moods, suffering, becoming a victim, whatever all the things were. And Arjuna looks at his guru and said, but how can I fight my relatives? And this is how people are on the path. How can I like being moody. I like being negative. I like getting angry. I like getting upset. I don't want to let go of those. But Krishna counsels, but you must, because it's not your nature to be dark, to be heavy, to be negative. It is your nature to rise up and become one with God, a soul, uplifted in the light. And so he counsels Arjuna to get up. He said in the Gita, he put down his bow, Arjuna, which means he stopped his practices. He stopped believing. He didn't have any more faith. He stopped using the tools that his guru gave him. But he got up again. And this is what the disciple has to do. Swamiji said there was a monk in Mount Washington who had a dream, or maybe a vision, of a great light, and all of the disciples, the monks, were running toward the light, and he said that four got through to the light, and then Swamiji said, well, did people fall, and did I fall? Because he saw Swamiji in a dream, and he said, yes, everybody fell, but some got up. That was the difference. Some got up, and they kept going. And that's what the Gita counsels. If you look at the Bhagavad Gita, we were speaking yesterday, it counsels absolutely everything. And how to work properly, how to have your thoughts, how to raise your energy, how to raise the Kundalini, how to see the spiritual light, how to practice Kriya Yoga, all the various parts of it, how to be positive, energetic, magnetic. Eat his food, diet, right attitudes. Everything that's the scripture of life. And everything you want to know about is in the Bhagavad Gita. And it's been revealed, demystified, we could say, by Paramahansa Yogananda. And that book is in the room in our boutique. And you understand that Krishna gave counsel for life, how to win the battle of life. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is put on a battlefield that you must fight how to win. He gives tools, he gives techniques, but most of all, Arjuna chooses Krishna over all of his armies. He could have all whatever he needed. And Arjuna makes the right choice. He says, Lord, I choose thee. And no matter what happens in your life, people say, I choose money, or this is comfortable over here, I choose a big car and a nice house. But Arjuna said, Lord, if I'm with thee, I know success will come. I know I will win. I know I'll be protected. I know I will come into the light. And so Krishna drives Arjuna's chariot. And that means he instructs him, he guides him, he shows him the way, he protects him, he takes away things where he can have pitfalls. And this is what the Guru does in our life. He comes and he guides us into the light. But we have to cling to the teachings, cling to the techniques, cling to the thought that I am not this little body, I'm not this little personality, I'm not these moods and habits and personality, and I'm not American or Indian, or that's a passing phase. We've been everything, man, woman, Indian, African, American, Australian, whatever, many other planets. Now they're looking for life on other planets. I was reading on the internet. Of course there's life on other planets. Master taught it long ago. And UFOs, of course they're around. There's life everywhere. But we can't be hemmed in. Yoganandaji said in his body he felt he was hemmed. His soul was pressed in, hemmed in by a wall of heavy flesh. And that's how we are. We're in a box and we think, well, this is my life and I'm just a little person who works at the store. There's a great soul. Swamiji used to come out different times when we'd be with him, various people, and he'd come out and he would say, good morning, great souls. This is Swamiji here, if you don't know. And people would, who is he talking to? Well, he's talking to you. Good morning, great souls. And Yoganandaji was firm. He did not equivocate on that. He was firm on the fact that you, me, everyone who comes into these teachings can find God and freedom in this very lifetime. He would tell different people, you will find God. And one man who was always getting in trouble, he said, even you, he said, I don't know how, but Divine Mother says so, that you will be free in this life. And he said, millions will find God, not a few hundreds, he said millions. And he said, through this teaching in the Bhagavad Gita, which gives everything I just told you, all the practices, all the counsel, all the advice, all the support, all the encouragement, teachings on absolutely every level of your life. He said, millions will find God through this teaching. And it says in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, out of 1,000, one seeks me. And out of the 1,000 that seek me, perhaps one knows me. Master just took that down. He said, our percentages are better. Now why? Because of the teachings we have of Kriya Yoga that liberate you from all karma, of the avatars that are guiding our lives, of the Guru Bhais, of the places to go to, of the beautiful life that Swami Kriyanandaji showed us. How to live in joy in your gum, of all places. How to live in your spine. How to be clear. How to be joyful. How to be energetic. Through energization, through the beautiful, I see the yoga students here. How to learn to direct your energy up so that the lotus flower of your consciousness awakens through the yoga postures. How to chant like this beautiful chanting group. To be able to open your heart to God. These are the keys that the ancient masters have all practiced. And they've taught them to their disciples. We are their disciples. And they are still teaching us how to liberate ourselves from a small consciousness, from a little body, from a little personality, and to become free. And we have that memory of freedom. There's a beautiful story in autobiography of Master talks about how there was a big mountain top and many people down in the marketplace. It reminds me of, honestly, it reminds me of here, some places I've been to here. But he said everybody was hot It was dusty. There were, all kinds of people crowded in. There was a marketplace. There were dogs barking, which happens all the time. There was monkeys, and then everybody passed by, and they would look up, to the hilltop, and they would say, "Oh, it looks so beautiful there, but it's too high for me." And then they would stay down in that dirty, dusty. You gotta know, we're travelers here. We don't belong here. We're passing through, learning the lessons and continuing onward in sainthood, becoming a great soul, taking away all that's not who we are, like peeling away and becoming the beautiful soul of God. That's within every person. But people get hypnotized. They think, no, I don't see it. Until you break out of the cage, like a bird in a cage, if the cage door is always closed. That's how we are. Then we say, I like the cage. What's wrong with it? But then someone comes and they open. And what do we say? I'm afraid to go out. The master comes and he says, but look, you can fly everywhere. You have wings. And we say, I'm afraid. And they keep, like Krishna counseled Arjuna, but you must go. Fly. The soul can soar. It has to. It has to go back to God. And little by little we go away from that cage and we start being uplifted in light. And we start, when you think about it, how come we can't just communicate without speech? Well, we have, who knows for how long? The astral realms used to give pictures or thought transference. Why do we have to talk? Why do we have to walk? And you can just soar and fly. I had a dream once of levitation, and it was many people, we were just so happy. And we could get off the ground. The flying car is coming. We could get in that until we could start lifting up. And why do we have to eat? Well, we like eating. We want to eat. But really, we should be able to eat the prana. Like Giri Bala, like Teresa Neumann, they fed from light and prana. Same with drink. It's all prana. We can learn how to. And you look at Yoganandaji's book, Autobiography of a Yogi, ask yourself, why did he write that book? Because he wanted to show superhuman possibilities. He showed it through the great ones in that book. That is who we are. He showed it through Swami Sri Teswarji's words about the astral realms. All the wonderful possibilities and how you're not hampered down and how you're free to soar, how you're free to be in light. He showed it through the levitating saint stories. If you haven't read it, read it. He showed it through Pranavananda, who created another body as he needed to, which could be helpful these days. You can be in more than one place at a time. He showed it through Rama being raised from the dead, from his guru's intercession. He showed it through Giri Bala. He showed it through Teresa Neumann. He showed it through all the great ones in that book. He showed, this is your potential. But I am afraid. Fear no more. It's time to be free. Yoganandaji came to say, it's time. Time for knowing God has come. And that memory of who we are behind the, Master said something funny, because in America there was lots of prejudice. Well, that man's black and then he's white, and it was all black and white. And Master said, I don't know why people say black and white. You take off the skin, it's all red. So we all think, well, I'm the best and I'm this. But underneath that, who are you really? I remember Swamiji said to me once, Durga, those who know her, she gave me a book on, I think it was George Washington Carver. We were at Swamiji's house, and Swamiji comes in and he says, well, what's happening here? What are you doing? It was just the three of us. And Durga says, oh, I'm giving Dhyana a book about her people. And Swamiji, he didn't like that at all. He said, who are your people? And I said, I don't know. I mean, really, who are your people? Those who love God. Those who love God. Those are your brothers, those are your sisters, those who love God. Remember, Master said about, Swamiji was saying something, oh, my father said whatever. Master said, you have no father! Swamiji goes, whoa! I mean, he was like 23 years old, and he wanted him to say, my earthly father. Not, I'm attached, all these things are limitations upon the self. And when things happen, like yesterday, the earthquake, you realize you have nothing but what you have inside. You could go in a minute. Ceiling could just come right down. You know, I was there talking with one of the career prep students, and I could feel this movement. I mean, it's rare. I mean, I haven't felt it since 2004 or whenever, anyway. I said, don't you feel there's something moving? And he says, I don't feel anything. And then it got more, and I said, let's get out of here. I mean, but you realize, who are you? What can you do if Divine Mother wants to take you? All you can have is her love in your heart and say, I give you myself. If you want to take me, I'm ready. And that's what the yoga brings, is remember, in your soul, we have to leave these bodies sooner or later, and you move on into the light, and you become a being of light. And there's a memory of that, like when Babaji met Lahiri Mahashaya. Remember the story? But Lahiri Mahashaya was roaming through the Ranaket area. Babaji meets him, and he doesn't know who he is. He's on a hillside, and Babaji calls him, and he doesn't recognize him. And then he says, Lahiri, do you remember this cave? And Lahiri Mahashaya, he doesn't know what's going on. And he was 33 years old. He was an avatar from past life, but still the veil was there. Probably very thin. And he says, no, I don't remember. And he says, do you remember this cup? Babaji brings it. He says, no, I don't. He's wondering what's happening. He said, do you remember this asana? He says, no, I don't. And then Babaji touches him. All you need is that touch. We practice and we practice and we practice, but it's the Guru's touch that finally opens us up, and he says, I remember. You're my Guru. This is where I meditated. This is my asana. This is my cup. And that memory is there. The memory, I love God. It's in there. The memory, I'm a yogi. It's there. The memory, these are my gurus. The memory, this is my family. When I first went to Ananda, I started doing the yoga postures, and I hadn't done them before. I said, I love the yoga postures. There was a memory. And I'd done these before. As I started to chant, I learned a harmonium. There was a memory. I love these chants. As I read Master's words, as I looked through his book and I looked at the pictures of the saints, I remember. I remember. And that's there for each one of us. Yoga, practice, the touch of the Guru, God's grace helps us to remember. And that's what the path is about. Is you can continue to practice, continue to know, to have faith that we have come from God and we go back in God. This is why I wanted to play this chant, joy, joy, everything. Because when you we came from that joy is always there. We go away from it, but when we come back and we remember, that's our state. Swamiji, in his last years, you all would remember, He said, I'm mainly filled with snow, because he had become one with God. And that's where we're headed. How high to aspire? Someone asked this question to Swamiji. We saw a video yesterday. How hard should we push ourselves? He said, as hard as you can. Just simply, as hard as you can. But know that God's grace is what's going to free you. I was talking to someone the other day who was saying, well, the perfection of meditation is when you go breathless and you go into this and that state. And I said, yeah. and then I said, but let's think about it. Are we really going to perfect Om Sa ever? Doubtful. Are we going to perfect energization? The perfection is when you look here and you're just energized without moving. Doubtful. Are we going to perfect Om technique? Are we ever really going to perfect our Kriyas? We do the best we can, and we let Divine Mother take over and the Gurus. And in that way, we can be one of those millions that Master said who would find